Well, hello. Today we are talking about contractors. Hey, shout out to all of the contractors over there that run our world. We are working super hard. I know you're working super hard, guys, every single day to night, getting dirty, getting in there. And, when I talk about contractors, I'm specifically talking about your construction workers. Are we live? There we go. Technically, all of us are contractors. Us as agents, and, brokers, contractors. Us as lenders, contractors. Inspectors, contractors. Those are all different contractors that are independent contractors. We say that because that's how we get taxed. That's how we pay employees. Is that we're based off of service or a product. It's not necessarily your hourly wage, even though you could do that if you wanted to hire someone on a long-term basis. Excuse me. But let's get down to it, guys. You guys seen the titles. We're talking about contractors and construction workers specifically. Shout out to Ryan All-Nighter Hider. I know you're watching this, man. You're ready for me to talk smack. No, I'm kidding. And, essentially what I want to talk about is the difficulties. A lot of people I've been talking to recently have had tremendous difficulty with trying to get contractors to come out consistently, to be able to match what is needed from them. And ultimately, it's a lot. I mean, to us, we're hiring them, to investors, or a broker, we're asking for them to come out and work and, give us an estimate, and nothing's guaranteed. For contractors, you guys are coming out and, surveying, giving your knowledge and experience for a lump sum of cash. There seems to be a difference between when an investor hires a contractor and obviously a contractor being an investor to themselves and hiring other contractors. Because what most, especially new investors, do is that they're like, hey, contractor, I want this, give me this. And then they leave it at that. But contractors, I like to look at you guys as you guys are extremely sharp at your craft. You guys are basically like, artists in what you're able to do. When someone tells you to draw a picture of a house as an artist, right? Anybody's going to be like, all right, well, whatever, here's a house, whatever. But when you're articulated, when you're asking them, hey, oil paints and all of that stuff. But let's bring it back to the construction workers. People that are saying, hey, we just want a new cabinetry in the kitchen, or we want granite countertops, or we want vinyl flooring. That's not enough, guys. You guys should be down to the wire. One of the biggest tips I can tell you as an investor, and one of the things that I'm seeing all these successful investors do, is they're going to Home Depot, to Menards, to any of these hardware stores, and they're picking up a catalog, and they're learning how much does wood cost? How much does vinyl cost per square foot? How much does, how wide are washing machines and dryers? Because does that even fit in the layout that I'm trying to ask this guy to do? See, what we start in as is we come up to these contractors and we're like, hey, do this for us. And they're going to try their best. A lot of times, we can't be upset with when they perform and they're not doing something that we expected. And I think that's what creates this difficulty between investors and different people, and then people of the trade. Because when you're not given proper instructions, you're going to go based on your own opinion. So, I mean, I've had situations before where, a contractor put something in wrong, right? Okay, well, yes, I understand you're upset. I understand that I recommended you this person and it didn't go as planned. At the same time, what did you say to them? What did you ask them to do? Did you ask them just to put up cabinetry? Well, what kind of cabinetry? How tall? What kind of handles? What are the expectations? What's the layout going to look like? Are you just asking them to do what they think it looks best? I mean, so then now you're open to interpretation, and maybe they're not on the same pathway as you. So that's honestly one of the things that people need to take a step back and realize. If you're going to ask someone to do something, you better know how to articulate that to a extremely high level. Like if you're wanting a whole new renovation, you better know every aspect that you want done. The other thing is, a lot of people have difficulty getting these people to physically come out. Oh, shoot. I just realized that I am low on battery. Of course, I forgot to grab the charger before I started. But what was I going to say? We're going to try and get along here. How long do we got? All right. Tell you what, we are going to do invest. Hey, Ryan, so you said investors should know in older homes, one improvement leads to another, or else that one improvement sticks out like a sore thumb amongst all the old crap. You're 100% right, bro. I mean, a lot of people expect things, let's say, for example, everybody expects a window to open a certain way, but historically, back in times, there was all types of different ways. There was the wood finishes, there was the pop outs, there was all kinds of different ways, the ice blocks, and there's a million different ways. So like you can't always depend on what you know as factual. You should be updating yourself. You should be studying the craft, learning yourself. That's why I'm telling you, get a catalog. Go to one of the hardware stores, get a catalog, and just understand prices, understand how the measurements work. Just using that as a dictionary almost can be the difference between you having a legitimate conversation with a contractor and it being of reason, and you ending up to go out there and you get a product or service that you weren't happy with. And they're workhorses. All construction workers are workhorses. They'll get it done for you. There's also this concept that I like to talk about where people that are at different levels of the investment game should understand who their best counterpart is when it comes to construction. If you are brand new to it, you need to get somebody that is a smaller time contractor or construction worker, somebody that they got their GC license, preferably. You always need that. You always need to make sure they're licensed and bonded if they're going to do big jobs. There's no problem having a handyman friend. But if you're going to go and you're going to say, hey, I want this, I want that, I want this, you need somebody who's going to spend the time to give you an emotional response. Something that is actually for your best benefit since you're getting into this, a mentor, because this is going to be your mentor. Hey, what's up, Mitch? Had to pick up some Texas Roadhouse. Hey, man, those buns are no joke, man. That buns and butter are no joke. Hey, Ryan. So from a contractor's point of view, it's very nice when someone has done their homework. It's easier to communicate with them, closer to the same level, ask questions, but don't be all questions. 100%. Yeah. I mean, there's a very thin line between being able to ask for something and being somebody who's like micromanaging. There's a very important book called the 48 Laws of Power. I don't know if you guys read it. I got a copy. I love it. Very first chapter says, never outshine the master. Always remember who you're learning from. Always remember who's better than you. Always remember who you owe or an ode to that profession, right? Construction workers, that is their craft. Let that be their craft. You don't need to be a construction worker. You need to be the best investor you can be. And the best investor is a combination of things. It's a jack of all trades. You're talking about construction knowledge. You're talking about interior design knowledge. You're talking about tax knowledge. You're talking about basic business knowledge, real estate, realtor services knowledge, and a whole slew of other things. I like to say a whole cloud of other situations. And so why do you want to sit here and, try and micromanage? You don't want to do that. You want to give them exactly what you want, A to Z. Then you want to review. You want to set consistent reviews. Ryan actually said this on our last video. He said, I always do consistent updates. Never all, half up front, never half at the end. It's always like a progression payment. That's the smartest way you can do it. I've been to a few seminars where they talked about, paying contractors and how it can be dangerous because, to a lot of contractors, I give you guys credit. I know that it's very, very tempting to get money. You got a job and you're going to work that job for that one person you got money from. But you get to a certain point where you start having multiple jobs. And so it becomes tempting when you get money from one person and you want to use it on another job to finish it. Because as soon as you finish it, you get paid to get that money back so you can work on the first job. It's a very dangerous line because guess what? If something else happens and then you're not able to bring that money, all of a sudden you disappeared with this person's money. this first person, this first project. And now that's a whole problem. And you know, who's gonna be at the disadvantage is going to be the investor. You guys that are investing, you guys need to know you need to pay in progression. If you're going to hire a contractor, you need to know, okay, this is the list of stuff I want. Where are you at? Oh, you finished 3 of those things and I gave you 10 things. Okay, I give you 30% of what you're owed. Oh, no. I need 50% up front. Okay, well, then it looks like we can't work together anymore, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to strong arm you into a certain way so that, you know, they can function on how they function if they want to take it to a different job or something. A professional, such as, you know, our great man, Ryan, he's going to know, okay, this is how much I've done. This is how much I'm worth. And, you know, he'll accept something like that. I'm sure, you know, I probably shouldn't speak for him, but you know what I'm saying? That's the best way to go that I understand, is because when you pay that half up front, you're hoping that everything works out smoothly. And once that point comes where they ask you for the rest of that money so they can buy materials or purchase the labor, then, you know, it's up to you if you want to make that bet. Progression is the best way to stay in control too. As the investor, your job is to manage all of the different aspects going on. You got property managed, you got, you know, the transactions of new houses, the construction of material, and now you got these contractors. So, you know, studying the progression is always going to be your best bet. Now, for a short break while I run and go grab a charger. Okay, so give me a short break, guys. You guys are going to see the back of my room, so I apologize. You know, I got my gracious bed and my baby swing over here. So eventually we'll be getting a green screen. So give me like 2 seconds, guys. Here we go. Super fast. All right. All right, hopefully that was quick enough. Kind of didn't realize I had the charger, or didn't have the charger for the laptop, so it is what it is, they say, right? All right, so check it out. Let us have a great conversation about food and construction workers, right? All right, here we go. This is the smoothest video live stream I've had in a while, right? Just trying to make sure that this doesn't end on us. There we go. All right. Here we go. All right. All right. There we go. We're all good. All right. So where were we? Okay. Yeah. So construction workers can be a superpower. I mean, if you know how to manage them correctly, you can get projects done within a couple months, maybe even like weeks. You know, let's talk about this idea of hunter and gatherer I had talked about once. The best investors know how to mix the aspect of, I'm going to grow a rental portfolio. This is long-term. This is going to pay me in small amounts, but over time, it'll be worth it. I'm going to get as many of these as possible. Now you have the other side where they're you know, flippers, wholesalers, realtors, all kinds of different things. Those are the hunters, because they have to consistently go out and do this certain service or complete this task in order to get a lump sum payment immediately. That is my phone. So, the best investors know how to do this in tandem, where they're able to go flip a house, use the funds and profits to be able to pay for more rentals, and then they keep going, do, and they develop a system. It's extremely hard to do it without contractors. Know that we're heating up. We're getting into the toughest time of the year. Right now, it's going to be harder and harder to get hold of contractors. So what do you need to do to keep that loyalty between you and a contractor? How do you stay top of mind in front of all of these different types of contractors? Well, you develop relationships. It's plain and simple. Contractors, you know, it's very hard to find. I shouldn't say it's very hard. Sometimes you'll come across people that aren't as honest as others. When you find somebody that's honest, you need to create a good relationship with them. Once you create that good relationship, and it can be simple. It could just be, hey, hope everything's all right, man. I appreciate what you did on this job, such and such. hey man, let me grab you a coffee whenever you get a chance. I wanted to ask you a couple of questions. Just making it more personable instead of the transaction is going to take you miles further. I mean, Mitch, hey, if you're still in the conversation, Mitch, I appreciate you for this, because you were like, how do I develop a relationship with a contractor at a distance? That's a very good question. You need to figure out who is it that people are using consistently and lean onto the community that you have. You have us, man. And to each person, hey, what's up, Mitch? So you have us, and I'm saying this to the general populace, everybody that watches this video, because they're going to have the same question. How do I do it from a distance? You have a community now, and if this one person ends up being a representative of the community locally as a contractor, they are going to have to not just uphold the respect of you, but also the respect of everyone in the community. As you develop that relationship and you use them consistently, and let's say they choose to do something poorly, they choose to screw you, well, guess what? They're not just screwing you, they're also screwing themselves, because now none of us are going to trust them. You have all of our backs in case anything ever goes wrong. That's why there's power in having a community. The other factor is, once you are able to utilize that community, you're able to try and leverage a relationship into it. Hey man, you're killing it. I got a few questions for you. I want to know how you're doing this so well with so many people. I want to know, hey, do you have time for a quick call or something? I wanted to see if I can, ask you a few questions. It can be, and the question is, you have to find somebody who's going to be receptive too. That's the challenge there, because when you're going to work with these contractors, a lot of them have a busy schedules, especially this time of the year. So not everyone's going to be as receptive. Certain people that we have in our community that are extremely busy 24/7, and then people that are extremely responsive. Those people that are extremely responsive, figure out what are they into, what are things they like. I mean, it's very simple to create that relationship, because all you have to do is find that like means. And if that's not good of an answer, I'm going to work on getting you a better answer. But that's what I ultimately say to all of you guys. We have a community here at State Squared Away, even the Millennial Mike followers. If they step out of that realm, it's going to be dangerous, Plus, most of these people that are coming in, they're trusted partners. We've worked with them before. We know that they're already in deeper relationships with people around you. So let's talk about contractors and materials. Now, I kind of touched on this with Home Depot and like Menards, and getting their catalog. It is so underrated. If you are an investor, you got to have something to start learning what materials are. If that's your plan to start renovating houses, maybe you're not. Maybe you're an investor that just wants to buy and hold. You're going to need to correspond with these contractors right away. So you need to know how to be able to know when prices go up or down. That can affect your relationship with the contractor. Let's say, hey, lumber prices go up. At one point, like a piece of drywall was ridiculous. Or not drywall, plywood was ridiculous. That's going to affect everyone. That's going to create hardships. That's going to create, tougher to get estimates because all of the prices jumped up. That's going to be something where now you can reach out and be like, hey man, heard that, there's this intense, surge in the lumber industry. Anything that's going on? Like, how's that affecting your business? I did mention time of year. Let's go back to that. I did mention time of year. Right now we're heating up. April to June are the highest points for anybody in this industry, in this real estate industry. It's where, at least as a real estate agent, 60% of all the sales, whether you're a real estate agent, wholesaler, someone purchasing and buying a property, 60% of all the sales in the year are done between April to June. And there's arguments that, like January to March are going to be, influential, but really it's extremely small compared to April to June. And during that time, it's going to be extremely hard to get a hold of contractors. It's going to be extremely hard to get jobs done. When is an ideal time to work with them, or to gain that relationship, or to have one-on-one time? Anytime during the winter. Most of them, they run out of jobs. Maybe they're working with a big investor. Maybe, there's there's a slowdown. This is another factor. A lot of them could be in the union, right? If they're in a union, technically they're not supposed to work outside, but a lot of them do. That's just how they make additional money. Fair enough. You got a tool to be able to make money. Why not go and use it? Especially if you can do smaller end jobs. So, obviously it's easier to build those relationships and be able to work with contractors and get them to do what you need them to do when it comes to that fall to winter time frame, because everything's going to be out for them. Their union job, most of the projects going on, and then it kicks back up when the weather gets warm. So it will be a game of cat and mouse, being able to create those relationships, being able to know how to manage, because you are managing an employee at that time sometimes. Now, let's talk about vice versa perspective, right? Is it fair to a contractor to be barked at, right? No, nobody deserves that. A lot of them are very, straightforward, are very, can be rugged guys, and that's great. That doesn't mean that, just because they're physically working for you and they're doing something that you feel like you don't need to do, or that's why you're paying them to do, doesn't mean that they're less. Being able to understand and look at them, that's a superpower. Everybody says that in motivation, right? They say, treat the person. Actually, there's a song that says this. It's like, treat everyone like they matter, because even the smallest job keeps you afloat. I think I said that right. Where it's true. It's true. I mean, you think about it, you can name a single job, that everything kind of comes in tandem with you being able to do what you can do. A lot of people, I think it's very easy to get into that mindset that, that you're the boss, right? Understand these guys, they're working their butts off. We need to be able to provide them something. Vice versa, you need to be able to know how to talk to them. So those are my big points, I guess. Let me stop rambling on. Those are my big points. If you're going to choose to work with a contractor, you need to do two things. The first point I said earlier is know how to articulate to them. Know exactly what you want and be able to give it to them. And you don't want to overpower them with questions. You want to be able to give them what you want, point blank. Do you have any questions? No? Okay, perfect. We're good. And then you pay on progression. You pay as they do the job. Don't do that 50-50, man. Everybody tries to get you to do that 50-50 where you pay 50 up front and you don't pay 50 on the end. Also, it would be in your best interest to have somebody routinely check. This is something that I do in Estate Squared Away, is project management. I check out projects to make sure that they're going along as planned. Do I need to be a general contractor? No. You just need to know the general concepts and have a good understanding of what construction is to be able to identify. For example, you want to hear about some scary things. I can tell you some scary things. And I'm sure Ryan can tell you from his experience too, man. Feel free, Ryan, to let us know some stories, man, or anything. But let's talk about what happens if there's too few of nails in a shingle on a roof. Well, I can tell you what one thing is almost guaranteed to happen. If you ever need to make an insurance claim on that roof, and that insurance specialist comes up there and sees like 2 nails in a shingle, I think it's required to have 3 or 4 nails. I want to say it's 4. Let's just say it's 3. If they see 2 nails in there, they're immediately going to cancel any type of claim that you're trying to make, right? Tree falls on your house burns up, something happens to the roof, moisture, mold, something. Nope, can't make a claim on it. It wasn't done properly. You had unprofessionals do this. Huge setback for you. Definitely make sure that you're having someone check on the progress that they're doing too. Let's name another one. Another situation that I found where people were spraying bleach on the walls of moldy walls, right? I mean, does it take it away? Yeah, kind of. Is that the proper way to do it? No. The proper way to do it is to cut 18 inches above wherever the spot is and then replace the drywall. Do will contractors do that? I mean, some will, but this is the superpower of being able to manage the money, overview the project, and then overview how you articulated to them what you needed. So yeah, I mean that's the gist, right? Being able to know what construction is going to be a huge superpower for you. You should set up your own curriculum, and with a state squared away, we'll eventually have a curriculum. We'll have one on construction, one on taxes, one on this, one on that, and develop every day, right? I gotta say, guys, you guys are killing it. You guys are working hard every single day. Every single one of you is trying to grow. And, I think that something that is underrated is being able to talk to each other. I don't think that our community does that enough. I think that one thing I love about being a broker is that all I have to do is bring two people together and something can happen. Yes, I made money in real estate just bringing buyers and sellers together. But then I learned about investing. Then I learned about business brokering. And that's what really intrigues me. It really intrigues me to be like, hey, I know a really good contractor. Let me connect you to this one person. For example, shout out to Humberto Orduna. Dude, you're killing it. He has a massive organization. I mean, we're talking 125 people. We're talking, he is licensed and bonded in every municipality. He even is an OSHA inspector. This guy is a killer when it comes to construction. Now, would I recommend him to somebody who's starting out in real estate, very first time from investing from far away? I mean, dude, he can help you. I think that he is better suited for somebody who is a higher level investor, somebody who's doing consistent large projects, because that way it's a hustle and bustle mindset. I got another gentleman, Ken Kane. Hey, shout out to you, man. You're killing it. Dude I believe he has a full-time job and he works construction. I'll recommend him all day to new investors. I think that he is a tremendous pair up because he'll sit there and be like, this is honestly what I think about it. Whereas, someone like my guy, Humberto, he's killing it. He's too busy. He's working with tons of people, man. So if you want a job, give it to him. Give him the details. He'll take the details, be like, all right, my guys are on it, ready to go. So, those are the different perspectives, man. I think learning how to be able to manage people is the hardest thing that anybody can learn. I think that it's the biggest skill set that you can provide to the world, because, there's 7 billion people on here. And if you can learn how to deal with every person, then that only makes you better. Influence is power, Look at Mike. I mean, he's influential. You have people that are 150, 200, 900 units that are still, stopping what they're doing and listening to them. And it's for good reason. Being able to manage people is the hardest thing to do. So, yeah, man, I was saying earlier that, we're going to start a curriculum here really soon. I'm really excited about it. We actually just started a New York chapter. So that's pretty cool. We had our first meeting today. We shout out to Ryan, dude. I'm telling you, we're going to start making a West Coast chapter. And what we're going to do is eventually every month we're going to meet with each one. And we're going to be starting to do a curriculum. Mitch, you're going to be involved too, man. We're going to have a monthly curriculum where, I bring in a professional. I have them talk. We, kind of learn what is it to mean with inspection, with investor taxes. It'll be an online mastermind. Then eventually we'll be having these in different locations: Chicago, New York, San Francisco, San Diego. You know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, man, I mean, what do you guys think? Is there anything that I'm missing? Because I feel like that is the gist. It's very simple. Yeah, right. I know it'll be exciting, man. I want us to be able to have like a, I think Ryan called it an event circuit where, hey, Mitch and Ryan are part of the State Squared Away team. They're going over to this event, back to back to back to back, and not necessarily all repetitive, but you'll be able to go and meet other investors, and we'll help you take it to the next level, and, crowdfund, and there'll be so many opportunities, man. So yeah, I mean, managing people, I got to say, if you can figure out how to manage people, that's got to be the superpower, if there's any superpower, because I'll tell you what, it's difficult, man. I mean, I'm trying to learn that every day. I'm trying to learn how to do that better. There's different perspectives. Working with the client is totally different than hiring an employee. You're technically hiring an employee when you're doing a contractor's job, or going to do a construction job on your property. Now, a lot of people like to do like that concept of add value, or BRRRR, right? Buy, rehab, refinance, rent, repeat. Sorry. Oh, there we go. Sorry. So my thing is, I think that anybody that's starting in a new market that they're not familiar with needs to start out on a very basic level. Get used to the market. Get a property that's damn near turnkey. If it can't be turnkey, as good as you can get it, as good of a deal as you can get it, then lean on your community. I think you guys are already doing that, and you're killing it. I think that if you're interested in doing an add value project, you need to invest into a team locally. There are many, many investor groups. There are many investors that are already doing it. Then, you need to hop on board with them, because you're going to go into a realm you're not familiar with. Take, for example, the Gary, Indiana houses are known for a lot of humidity in the attics, because most of them weren't built with proper points of termination, where they have the fans and vents and stuff leading out from the bathrooms. They are known for, the water and foundation damage that ends up happening because of the runoffs not being set out from the downspouts. They're known for, I mean, those are just a couple of ideas. Being able to know how to deal with those things, especially at a large level when you're talking multi-units and doing anything on a majority 5-6 properties. Always, I would recommend first working with someone, because then you have the guidance. You're like, oh, okay, this person's done it successfully. I'm going to hop on board. It's extremely hard for people to be able to trust other people in a deal, but this is where, you have to determine what are your wants. What do you want to get out of it? Then, hop right into your add value. Hell yeah, I definitely recommend that. Do your first add value. I think hopefully by that time you guys have a strong relationship with a contractor. There's plenty of them out here. There are tons and tons and tons of construction workers. It's being able to create that bond. That's what matters. Well, what do you guys think? What do you guys want to hear about? Because, I ran through the ideas that I really wanted to get to you guys. I think that, shout out to the guys that are in our community, the State Squared Away community. You guys are killing it. 2 guys, more guys went under contract. That's 5 people from our dinner have went under contract already. Can you believe that? 5 different people. I mean, you guys are killing it, man. We're growing every day. I mean, we got offers out right now, being able to get more. As we grow, eventually, maybe let's not just look at Gary. Let's look at other places. What are places that are reasonable that you can, still do the same effect to? Let's have more events. Let's meet. I'm very excited for the near future. Today was just going to be a, short one. I wanted to be able to just talk to you guys about, contractors and how I've seen people be able to successfully deal with them. Sometimes there's whole masterminds that are created around this concept, because it can be really difficult to be able to keep a friend at the same time, you're the boss. At the same time, they do multiple projects and you're not the first priority. It is what it is. Ultimately, guys, the one thing I'm going to tell you is you need to manage their payment, pay on progress, articulate the questions to them, create a relationship. Those are the 3 main factors that you guys need, and you'll be able to successfully deal with any contractor. Vice versa, give them respect. You know what I mean? These contractors, you know, they work very hard. You know, some people, they treat them poorly just because they think that they go and work out in the mud. And that's not true. You know, they are an asset, or else you wouldn't have anything. So thank you guys so much for coming to another one of Estate Squared Away's Agent Office Hours. If you guys need anything, I'm always here for you. Again, I didn't say this in the beginning, but Estate Squared Away is an organization focused on bringing long-range investing to local, low economic areas like Geary, and associating them to government agencies. Like, hey, it was a big day for the Estate Squared Away community. It really was, Adam. You know, it was a great day. And I was just saying this earlier, we have 5 individuals that are currently under contract right now. Tremendous. You guys are killing it, man. Everyone's growing. Everyone's getting further into their careers, into their investments. And sooner or later, we're going to start seeing everyone pop into financial freedom. You know, congratulations, guys. You guys are killing it. Keep working hard, and I will see you next time, okay? All right. All right, I'll talk to you guys. Bye.